Hello, dear children. It's really very different type of situation we are in, and that's the reason that we are going for now online classes and other things. You are habituated with the number of classes like this, and we now in science, biology, we are starting with. And I was waiting for meeting you here. Hope that in different every lockdown expectations were there that you will be coming here and then we can have a live classes here, but no other options now. Things are gone far off, then now we have to depend on online classes only. That's the reason that now we have come for online classes. Now we have in science, in biology portion, the first chapter is a fundamental unit of life. We are going to have some basics about it, and let's get into the chapter. This chapter mainly deals about a cell and its structure and different types of cells, and along with their functions. Now let's see what are cells. Cells are basically known as the structural and functional units of life forms, and any life form if we take, the cells only constitute the structure of those life forms. Not only giving structure to the organisms, they are also giving functional activities of those organisms. They are taking care of the functional activities of those organisms, and that's why the cell is being defined as the structural and functional units of life forms. And then we can get different types of cells like microorganisms which cannot be seen through our naked eyes, and there are plant cells, animal cells. Animals means all sorts of animals come in that, and plants means all sorts of plants come in that. But basically if we see their structure, all these microorganisms, plants, animals, all of them are made up of cells. Now let's know how the word cell has come and who discovered these cells first ever. The cell was first ever discovered by Robert Hooke, that too very long back in the year 1665. He discovered it from a cork. Cork is a common plant material which is found in the bark of the plant, and that is used, you might have seen in some bottles which are covered up with some cork, plant material which are gently softer in nature. And such a type of cork was taken by Robert Hooke, and he was taking slices of it, and then he saw that there are some different structures in it, and he used a hand lens and looked at it. When he looked at it, just down to the slide, you carefully see there is a diagram given in blue color where small compartments are there, and these compartments, by seeing that, he named it as a cellula. In his language, cellula means cell, compartments. And these compartments, this is the way the history of the cell has been done. After that, lot many scientists and different types of people have started working on the different types of cells which are found in different organisms, the constituents of the organisms. And then they found that these cells are of differently shaped, differently sized. And these differently shaped and then sized cells can't be seen through our naked eyes. We need a certain kind of devices for it. And such cells which cannot be seen through naked eyes are called microscopic cells. So almost all types of cells except nerve cells, almost all types of cells are microscopic in nature, and they have the capacity to perform their basic functions in the living organisms. And apart from that, the cells have some special characteristics. A single cell, especially in plants, a single cell can give rise to a whole plant itself. And this capacity of the cell, or this phenomenon of the cell, is known as totipotency. I repeat the word totipotency. So totipotency is the capacity to rise a small cell, a single cell, into a new organism. And if we proceed with the structure of that, to look into it, we need a device. So how can we see them? We need microscope. That is the reason that the organism which can be seen through the microscope are called microscopic. That is why we have told that these all cells are microscopic in nature. And then now the microscope. What is microscope? Definitely many of us are aware about. We have seen in lower classes. But once again I repeat it. Microscope is a device which is a basic device through which we can look into the microscopic parts of the plants or organisms. any type of organisms. And then the compound microscope is the most commonly used one, which has different parts. In the diagram you can go through it, and then which each and every part has its own specific function. Through the eyepiece area we can see things, and then we can also, very importantly, we can find there here you can find there is a stage, and in this stage only organisms are kept, and through these objective lenses we can see things, and that is the advantage of it. Right. Now when we talk about cells, definitely differently shaped, differently sized, we have told in the characteristics, and then they have different types also. So basically all sorts of cells are classified into two different types, which are called prokaryotic cells, or also called prokaryotes, and the second type of cell is called eukaryotic, and which is also known as eukaryotes. Either prokaryotic cell or prokaryotes, eukaryotic cells or eukaryote, any term you can use here. Prokaryotic cells, let's know about its definition and then examples of it. These prokaryotic cells are basically primitive in nature, and they lack nuclear envelope in them. And later part we can see with the help of diagram what is nuclear envelope, and then how do they lack, and then why are they called prokaryotic. With the help of a diagram we can come to know. And basic examples for all these things are bacteria, blue-green algae, and other microscopic organisms. Eukaryotic cells means the advanced cells which contain double membraned nuclear envelope in them, and then basically plants and animals, all sorts of plant cells and animal cells come under this category. Now you just look into the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell structures. In prokaryotic cell you can clearly see the nuclear materials are there, these all pink colored one, but they don't have any envelope around it. This green color envelope is nothing but the complete structure of the external parts. But in case of eukaryotic cell, you look at here there is a nucleus, this one is the nucleus, and that nucleus has a distinct cover envelope. In the later part again, when we deal about the nucleus, the specific structures of that we can learn about. Now let us move to the next part. Yes, so prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, when we talk of, they have their basic differences. How do they differ? Now you just look at the slide, one by one we can discuss about. Prokaryotes, which are the cells which lack their nuclear envelope, they are basically very small in nature, tiny in nature. But at the same time, eukaryotes in comparison to prokaryotes are larger in size. At the same time, when we get into the prokaryotes they lack nuclear envelope, we have already learned it, and eukaryotes have nuclear envelope. And then prokaryotes have only one simple chromosome. I have shown you that pink colored structure, that is called chromosome, and the same thing is found in complex form in eukaryotes. And then the membrane bound cell organelles, especially in prokaryotes, are absolutely absent, and in eukaryotes they are present. And nucleolus, a special structure which is present within the nucleus, is also absent in prokaryotes, which is present in which is absent in prokaryotes, which is present in eukaryotes. And cell division means a cell becomes 2, means a cell gets divided and becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, like this multiplying number of the cell, that is called cell division. That process is taking in prokaryotes by means of two means. One is fission and budding. Fission and budding in detail in class 10 we can learn about. And then in case of eukaryotes, they undergo two different major processes called mitosis and meiosis. When you go to college, you can learn about mitosis and meiosis, because each and every process contains many different steps. Mitosis, if you go, there are 4 different steps. Meiosis, if you go, there are 8 plus 4, 12 different steps. So different steps in colleges you can learn about, but basically just you know here, mitosis and meiosis are the basic methods of cell division found in eukaryotic cells. In prokaryotes, the centrioles which are involved in cell division are absolutely absent, but eukaryotes, as they are undergoing the cell division through mitosis and meiosis, definitely these centrioles are essential to be present. Already we have seen the examples for them. Bacteria, blue-green algae are the best examples for prokaryotes, and eukaryotes, plant cells and animal cells. Now, plant cells and animal cells. Mainly we are going to focus on now eukaryotic cells. plant cells and animal cells. In the corners I have given their basic structures. In detail we can see in the latter part. Now plant cells, what are plant cells? Plant cells are defined like this. The cells which give structure to plants and care their functions are called plant cells. The same in place of plants, if you put animals, it is called animal cells. So how can we define animal cells now? The cells which give structure to animals and care their functions are called animal cells. The difference between these two definitions is only one word, that is plant and animal. It means both of them are eukaryotic, they have common functions. At the same time, as they are contributing to the structure of plants and animals, they are called plant and animal cells. How do they differ from each other? They have some basic differences. Especially in plant cell we can find the plant cells are larger in size. That's why most of the plants you see large, huge in structure. And then their cells are also larger in size. But remember that their cells are also microscopic in nature. But animal cells, they are smaller in comparison to plant cells. And plant cells possess cell wall. Animal cells do not possess cell wall. And plant cells contain large vacuoles. What are these? One of the organelles, we will discuss about that later on. And then animal cells have vacuoles. If they have vacuoles, the vacuoles used to be very, very small. But in most of the cases, these vacuoles are absent. And then plant cells, they have lots of plastids. Plastids, best known plastid is chloroplast, you know well. And the same thing is absolutely absent in animal cell. And already we have dealt, the plant cells have centrioles, but at the same time these centrioles, the plant cells do not have centrioles because the centrioles are found only in animal cells and these centrioles are involved in cell division. And then plant cells possess no lysosome, but at the same time lysosomes are found in animal cells. And plant cells, we know all that plant cells, they produce their own food, but animal cells cannot. They depend on others for their survival. The best examples for plant cells and animal cells, which we can see in the next chapter in detail, tissues, which are called parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, etc. Animal cell, epithelial cell, the skin of us is made up of epithelial cells. Blood cells, we have blood and bloods are made up of, blood is made up of different types of cells, nerve cells, etc. These are some of the examples for plant and animal cells. This is the complete structure of a plant cell. Just to look into it carefully, the plant cell has more or less square or hexagonal in shape, which contain different parts in it. These are just for self-study. Go for it and know about it. In that, some parts are written like Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria. These all we are going to discuss in the later part under cell organelles. This is the structure of plant cell. And just to have this one, and you practice this diagram also in your home. You take a copy and then use color pencils, draw it and repeatedly you draw it. Here that one of the parts you see, the vacuole I was talking about now, which is found only in plant cells, larger in size, you see, this is what that vacuole, very huge in structure. And then this vacuole is huge in structure. That's the reason that when a big log of wood of a big tree, when it falls in water, it floats. It's all because each and every cell of the plant contains large vacuoles. In that large vacuoles, lots of materials are stored. Sometimes air is also stored. When air is stored, the dry wood gets floated over water. That's the reason the vacuole is playing important role in it. Then this one is an animal cell. The animal cell contains, it's differently shaped in comparison to plant cell. An animal cell contains more or less same parts, but except the few different organelles which are narrated in the previous slide. In the previous slide we have seen no differences between animal cell and plant cell, and except that rest all present in it, and more or less both the cells are almost equal to each other. So what we have discussed so far, we have discussed about the definition of a cell, how is the cell discovered, and how do the cells look, and how can we see the cell with the help of microscope, and what is microscope. Then types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and also we have seen the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and also we have seen the eukaryotic cell, the examples are plant and animal cells, and how do they get defined, and then what is the basic comparison between them, and then structures of plant and animal cells. So this is for today. Thank you.